This video will cover frequency distributions, relative frequency distributions, how to use MathXL and StatCrunch together. On the right side of the screen is a document that I have in Moodle, and it's a summary of information from Lesson 2. The frequency table shows the results of a question asked to students of if they like slime, putty, or neither. I can see that 5 people liked slime, 4 liked putty, and 3 liked neither. So altogether, there were a total of 12 people asked, because 5 plus 4 plus 3 is 12. If I have a frequency table already created, then when I need to create a relative frequency table, I take each individual frequency and divide it by the total. There were 12 people asked, so for slime, originally 5 people liked slime, and I come over to calculate the relative frequency and calculate 5 over 12 as a fraction, or divide it out to decimal places, which is 0.417. Similarly for putty, I take the frequency of 4 and divide it by 12. 4 twelfths does reduce down to 1/3, or the decimal 0.333. And then there were 3 people that did not like slime or putty. And that 3 twelfths can reduce down to 1/4, or it's the decimal 0.25. Many times our data is not already in a frequency table. Instead, we will have a list of data. So now I'm going to come over to the left side of the screen, where I have a homework problem out of MathXL that's posed. And it says, suppose a survey was conducted in which participants were asked to disclose their favorite night for a particular activity. The results are summarized in the table. Now I don't see a table with results. What I need to know is that I need to click this little I. And now here is all the data. What I want to do is I want to take this data and put it into StatCrunch. First, I need StatCrunch open. So I'm going to go to Google and type in StatCrunch free app. This will usually ask me to sign in. If it doesn't ask me to sign in, it just means that I recently signed in. I highly recommend that you bookmark this particular website. Now the StatCrunch is open, I'm going to go into MathXL and I'll click this little rectangle on the top right-hand corner, and it says click to copy table. And I can choose to open it straight into StatCrunch, which it would do for me, or I can copy it to a clipboard. I don't know why, but my default is to copy to a clipboard. So it puts it in a long list. I can use Control-C, paste that over into StatCrunch. Once it's in StatCrunch, I can use the directions for StatCrunch for creating a frequency table. First, I have to enter the raw data. I did that. I also need to name this column. This would be days of the week. Now that my data is labeled, I'm going to select Stat, Tables, Frequency. First column is days of the week, and I'm just going to ask for a frequency table right now. I'll hit Compute. Here's my frequency table, Sunday through Saturday. And the frequency is 4 for Sunday, 3 for Monday, and so on. Now let's say I wanted to sort this by frequency. I could click the little arrows on the right, and now it's organized the days of the week by the lowest frequency up to the greatest frequency. But it's kind of an unusual table. Typically we sort by days of the week. So I'm going to go back over to the column of days of the week, and I'll sort it once again Sunday through Saturday. Let's say I want to copy and paste this into a new document. I select, hit Control-C, and then I can paste it into a Word document. Now let's create a relative frequency table. I go Stat, Tables, Frequency, select the column, and this time select Relative Frequency. I now have a relative frequency table. Next, let's create a bar graph. Graph, bar plot with data. I select my column that I'm interested. I want a frequency bar graph. And I want to put a title. on my bar graph. This title will go above the bars. And this was for favorite night for an activity. I have a bar graph. It's a frequency bar graph. It's titled in both the overall section, the axes on the left and the axis on the bottom. Let's create a relative frequency bar graph. Graph, bar plot, with data. Select days of the week. I want a relative frequency. Need to title this. Now I have a relative frequency bar graph.